And we're live.
It looks like we're live. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right, I just posted in the comments the link. If you're not on StreamYard, go ahead and click that link and give StreamYard permission for us to see your name. Otherwise, when we see your comments pop up, it just says Facebook user. So we're broadcasting on StreamYard in 3 different places. And hopefully you guys have all seen our sneak peeks. It probably wasn't too hard to figure out who our special guest is.
Hey, it's not easy to keep it a secret when,
Well, and we did kind of, I don't know that we tried real hard to keep it a secret because we had Andy's design team posting alongside us and, with his logo splashed. So anyway, you've probably already guessed who our special guest designer is, and he's right down there on the camera.
I'm here.
Hello. Drum the roll.
Without further ado, that is our special guest, Andy Skinner. Yay!
Thank you very much. Thank you. And so hi, everybody. Yeah, sorry I'm not on screen, but internet is not really allowing it. So you'll
okay.
With just my voice.
We can hear you loud and clear.
Good.
And we are so excited to have you here and so excited to have you doing this collaboration with us, Andy. And just to give you guys a little bit of background on how this started, there was a particular, so I've been following Andy for a long time. You maybe even stalking, I don't know.
Stalking, I'd say stalking, quietly in the background.
As well as I know several of my design team members as well have had, have had encounters and love your work. And so we all just kind of decided as a group that we would approach you.
I'm very glad you did.
I am too. And I think it's gone. I think it's super exciting to do this with you.
Was it the Raven that did it?
Yes, it was.
I guess.
So before we show everybody this new release, Andy, I just wanted to see if you would share in your own words just some background for us on your mixed media journey thus far.
Wow. So I first started with mixed media, I was about 23, so about 3 years ago. No, about, I don't know, 20 something, nearly 30 years ago. And when I was doing mixed media, my friends would come around to the house and see these canvases and were like, what on earth is that? And I was using things like plaster from the garage and just anything, because there wasn't all the mediums that you can get now. We're very lucky. In those days, it was literally polyfiller for your walls and whatever you could use. And I continued to paint. So my mother was an artist and my father an engineer. So I had those two influences. I think my father's influence was more I became a tool maker, so the whole metal and industrial, originally steampunk, I started doing some of that. I've painted with everything, oils, watercolor. My mother was mainly watercolor, pastels, but mixed media has kind of always grabbed me. And one thing I like about it is that anybody can give it a go. Anybody can give it a go. And there's kind of no mistakes with mixed media. So in my early 40s, my children had grown up and I plunged into opening my own ceramic studio in London. I got very heavily into ceramics and I ran that for 6 years, and circumstances were part of it. That I sold up the company, which was very, very good. And I moved back to my hometown, home city in Oxford, and I started teaching ceramics. And within teaching, this is a long-winded story. I told you I like to chat, but the company I work for were bought out by a company called Personal Impressions, who at the time were the biggest kind of distributor for Ranger and art supplies. And one day they noticed that I was using rubber stamps within my ceramics, and they said, "Could you design rubber stamps?" Which I did. And
Awesome.
I got heavily involved with an American paint company, which was Decoupage, and designed their whole mixed media program for them. Started teaching, and in the end, it just blew up. And I was teaching worldwide. I was never at home. So that's kind of my background. Obviously, then COVID hit, all the traveling stopped, the teaching stopped, and yeah, so that's kind of my background. There's a lot more to it than that, but I won't bore you anymore. But
no, it's not boring at all.
That's kind of basically my background.
Awesome. And do you have a clothing line, Andy?
I do. Yeah. So this is something I set up in in the pandemic times of the COVID. And it's something I've always wanted to do. And so the clothing label is not my name. It's a label called Jack Allen, jackallen.co.
Jackallen.co. Got it. Okay.
.co, not .com.
Okay, got it.
And it's all eco clothing. So the manufacturers that I use, everything is recycled. You can even send your clothes back to them when you're finished, and they will turn them into new clothes. It's completely eco-friendly. So that's been fun, but it's the same thing. It's kind of designing. So the same I would do in Photoshop papers and things like that. I'm doing the same with designs for clothing.
That's amazing. I've been on there. You've got some really cool things. There's a little bit of crossover, but most of them are unique. They're pretty unique. That's awesome. So Andy, you've got a couple of groups out on Facebook that people can follow you and follow your work. Tell us about that, and if some of your creative team is on, they can drop links too.
So I've got a business page, which is Andy Skinner Crafts on Facebook. I've got my personal page, which I tried to keep personal, but it just didn't happen, you know. So yeah, and then I've got quite a few groups, but two groups. The main group is Andy Skinner and Friends on Facebook, and then it is a private group. It's called The Dark Side, and within The Dark Side, it's not as dark as people think. If you look at the name, think The Dark Side, and you think it's going to be full of devil worship. It's not. It's just the darker side of mixed media.
Right.
And some very talented people in there as well. So they're the groups that I chair.
Yeah, and I'm in that group, The Darker Side, and I'm always a little bit surprised because people will share things in that group that they don't share anywhere else.
No, that's the whole idea. I think about seven years ago, I posted something up, kind of Halloween related, but it was quite dark, and I got some quite nasty feedback. I mean, we're talking quite nasty, threatening, and I thought it's a shame that you can't express yourself on Facebook without this. So that's when I started The Dark Side. I don't advertise it. I just want people to find it or be recommended to come in here.
Right.
And the amount of people that come in and say, "Oh, it's so nice to have somewhere to share what I do," without people, you know. So yeah, that's the whole idea around The Dark Side.
Yep. And you know, we kind of got recognized in the USA for our Halloween collection because we were really one of the first decoupage companies to kind of showcase you know, Halloween. It was really for Halloween, And I have to share something with you. People think that I must really love Halloween, but the truth is I don't.
Me neither. Me neither.
And my husband was like, my husband goes all out for Halloween. And he's the one who told me, he said, people really love Halloween. You've got to do some Halloween images. And I said, okay.
Yeah, I can't, Teresa, I can't even watch a horror movie. I watched Stephen King, Animal, I can't remember what it's called now, but there was one scene in it, and it was a child who was 5 years old or around about that age, which was the same age then as my youngest daughter. And I just had to turn the telly off. And since then, I've never watched a horror film since.
I don't either.
No, but I am kind of drawn to artwork, to shock sometimes.
I know, and I think part of that is that artist brain, because we're all a little bit twisted in the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some more so than others.
Yeah. It's funny. I've got people that have followed me and become friends, very good friends over there. But even in the dark side, there's a couple of them in there. Mm-hmm. And I'll post them in cup and they'll let you know. And I don't like that. I feel if you don't like something, you don't need to quote.
Right.
You just go on to the next page, or
right.
But they still will.
Yeah. Well, the images that you've done for us, talk a little bit about them before we dive right in. But These are definitely, I would say, more masculine, which we've introduced a little bit before. But this is a 10 papers that's going to be, women can use them, of course, but definitely a different edge than what we've had before. And and they'll work. I think they're just such a nice range that are just going to work with so many different types of projects, including furniture, right? You haven't really done anything in the furniture world before, but
I have, believe it or not.
Have you? Okay.
So I put together with Decoupage the chalky finish range.
Okay, nice.
And so I have done furniture. I find it a bit overwhelming sometimes to do a big cabinet. One of the chaps in my design team, Mark Gold, he used to do a lot of the chalk paint stuff for us with furniture. I think he's done a sample for us as well with the papers, which looks fantastic.
I'm so excited to share everybody's samples. We've got 46 projects.
Wow, and more coming.
I know, it's amazing. So I'm going to switch my camera view, and Yvette's in the background. She's going to show us some clearer pictures. But in the meantime, I'm going to switch my camera view, and then we will start talking about this collection that you've designed for us. And let's see here. Okay. So here we go. This is the first one, the boiler room. So tell us about the boiler room, Andy.
Well, it's kind of an industrial theme paper. You'll quite often notice on my artwork, you'll find text and numbers, especially within the industrial element of them. I don't know if you know, but a boiler room, you often find them in ships, and they were really horrible conditions these guys worked in. And they would literally boil water to provide steam for power for the ships. And again, it contains, I've loved working with this paper. There's so many elements. So you can use this as a whole sheet, or just take elements, which I've done an awful lot when doing samples of this paper. I've just taken elements from it and combined that. And the other thing that I found with the papers is the quality. So they blend and tear beautifully. You can't even feel a line. I mean, I've used other rice papers before, but these are the best I've used.
Thank you. Thank you. That's our secret sauce. That's what makes us different from everybody else is the quality.
Yeah.
So thank you for saying that.
That is true. It's
Yeah.
true.
So I'll tell you how I feel about just personally. My father actually worked in the sulfur industry, and he was a boiler maintenance technician. And he's passed now, but when I see this paper, it makes me think of him. So yeah, and I haven't shared that with you before, but when I saw it and when you shared the name with me, I got a little bit misty. So this one is near and dear to my heart for sure.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's go on to this one here.
Okay, so this is called Industrial Erosion, and it's probably the grungiest out of all 10 papers in the collection. And it's basically like a steel panel that's been weathered over the years. You'll notice salt incrustations on there. You can see where the paint's just decaying over the years. Again, lots of little elements you can use from it. I've been really shocked, and you guys will see some of the samples over the next few days, weeks, where people have used this paper. Yeah, I just love this one, but it's like I said, it's probably the most distressed paper.
It's amazing.
Pack. Yeah,
we really love it. All right, let's go on to this. This one is Yvette's favorite.
Yeah, so I love Leonardo da Vinci. The first ever, when I got my first house, I framed a Da Vinci. It was literally a sketch, and I think it was called Study of a Woman. And I just loved it, and I framed it, and that was the first picture in my house. Since then, I've studied him quite a bit, and I just think he captures faces, especially women, but all faces and body forms like nobody I've seen. Yeah, and this is actually a self-portrait of him, although we think it's a self-portrait. There's no hard evidence, but that's what they think. And some of his script on there as well, with a very vibrant kind of abstract background that I've applied to it.
It's just amazing. So we've got a couple of viewer questions here. Someone's asking, for each of the papers, do you also have original artworks?
For many of them, yeah. I mean, it's all original. It's all stuff that I've done. I've just realized how to get up the chat now. I can see it. Yeah, so some of them are actually original artworks from canvases.
Amazing.
Okay. And some, but I do have the artwork, but they're not all painted on canvas.
Right.
A lot of them are digital mixes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I will, when we get to the ones that are the original canvases, I'll let you know.
Okay. Awesome. So yeah, we love Leonardo too. We've got one that's Lovely Lena. It's retired now, but that I just love Leonardo, so I'm happy to have a man represented.
yeah, I guess, yeah.
All right, let's go to this one, Brick Wall.
I love this paper. I love it more since I got it to use.
Yeah.
You know, we had that time where they were designed, and then to actually get the paper and the product.
So versatile.
And that's the whole thing. It's so versatile. I've used it so many times. I have, because you guys, some of you probably know that these come in 5 sizes. Is that right, Teresa?
5 sizes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So from A4 up to A0. And I've got 2 of those sizes. I think the A4 and the A3, and I've used them together. Again, you'll see some of the samples that I put out over the next few days. And there's 6 different brick effects here that I've layered together, and I just love the way the bricks have eroded, you can see so many years of paint on there that have worn away. It's just, it really is. I just love it. I can use it on nearly everything.
They work so well together too. I mean,
Yeah,
it looks like one kind of harmonious design, and then when you really look closely, then you can see it is actually.
that's right. And you can cut out, so you've got kind of 6
Mhm.
segments there that you can use or blend them together.
Yep. And you could even, you know, continue this and make it a pattern, a repeating
Yeah.
pattern.
Yeah.
I actually have this in A0 size, and I am really thinking about putting it in my office as my background on my wall.
That's fun you say that, because I watched a YouTube video yesterday, and in their background they had, you could see it was like a wallpaper,
Yeah.
but it was brick.
Yep.
It wasn't distressed brick like that, and I do like the distressed brick later, but it looked fantastic
Yeah.
as
So
a background.
you may see that as my new background soon. Decoupage for wallpaper. It's just another use for it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I love this one too. Well, I love all of them, but I really love
was
this one
going to
too.
say, I love everything that I've done, but I think this is my favorite because of the many uses with it. It's quite a complex collage, and I love collage.
It really is.
Anybody that's following me probably saw last year I did, I think, 6 collage canvases, and it was so much fun. The thing is, it's, again, you can use lots of elements from this, and when you look into the paper, you will see something different every single time.
Every time. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
there's even like multi-story buildings in there and all sorts of fabric, and I just love this paper. I absolutely love it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this one you could spend hours I could spend hours just asking you questions.
Yeah, you really don't want to get into my mind. Not too deeply.
I don't know. Maybe I do. maybe I do, Andy.
Okay.
All right. So this one is called Tattered and Torn. You know, and I'm drawn to the statue here. I just love
he's
that.
kind of the focal point.
Yep, love that. So very nice paper. And then we'll talk about which one is your favorite at the end here, but I'll tell you which one is mine at the end. But
okay,
this one is called Ruby Tuesday. Another very useful paper.
Yes. So again, last year I did a series of tags which I based on tugboats, which are ships, vessels that would tow other marine vessels in canals on the sea, and they're often made of wood. These boats are workhorses. And when I looked at the pictures of the holes, I was just like, wow, these are weathered just so beautifully. So I decided to do a paper with that kind of effect. So you'll see the ship's number on there. Well, 2 numbers.
Yep.
Yeah, on the bottom right, you'll see a depth gauge, which most ships will have to show the depth of the water, or above the water, or below. And then the name. So I picked a kind of a ruby red theme. Okay, in there, and I just had the Rolling Stones Ruby Tuesday playing in my head when I was designing the paper, so I thought I'd name the boat Ruby Tuesday.
Amazing. That's beautiful.
It's lovely, and again, I've used this a lot as well. I can't wait to show the samples. I really can't, that everybody's done.
I know, that's the hardest part
I know.
spacing it out.
You think, I want to show the whole thing?
I know, just right now, let's show it all. But we've got to. She's, you know, like I said before, Yvette tells me what to do, and I do it. So she's got us on a plan what to post when. So, yeah,
like you said, she tells you what to do, and you do it.
That's exactly right. And then, you know, we have to follow her instructions, because we definitely don't want to make her mad.
No.
All right. So somebody, before we jump into this one, somebody asked me, is Andy our first male designer in the Decoupage Queen group.
Who says I'm male? You have no idea.
Right.
I could be Andrea.
That's right. You never know. My husband has actually designed a couple papers for us, which is a little known secret. He's sort of sat in the background while I was designing and told me what to put where. But other than that, then yes, you are our first male / androgynous designer.
I see somebody's put Ruby Tuesday indicates a creator's age.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right, so let's talk about Easy Rider.
Yes. So I'm going to be honest with you. Well, honest with everybody. You came to me and said we don't really have anything motorbike themed.
Mm-hmm.
And so about 2-3 years ago, I started watching an American series. I don't know if it's Netflix or it could have been Amazon Prime, called The Sons of Anarchy, which was a very popular series. And I kind of loved it. And it was all kind of choppers and it was fantastic. And obviously the film Easy Rider,
Mm-hmm.
which was an iconic film. So I put this together, but in the background, again, it's like a brick wall, but collaged. Lots of torn posters. This, again, I've used it on the samples, so I've taken elements from it rather than the whole thing, because I don't really do furniture. Yeah, I was just really, really happy with the way the paper came out.
Yeah, me too.
And the color scheme as well.
I love the color scheme.
Yeah.
It's sort of monochrome, but you've got splashes in there.
Yeah, that kind of, I'm a big fan. If people see my paint range, they see that a few colors in there called Prussian blue and transparent yellow on oxide, quinacridone gold, and they're the kind of colors used in this blended together.
Love it. So this one's going to be, and then you've got you even have like a little bit of, looks like graffiti.
Graffiti, yeah.
Back there. Amazing. All right. So, okay. So this one was #1 in our pre-sales for good reason. This one outsold all the others for when you look at it, you just go, wow. That is a great paper.
So I actually designed this paper a couple of years ago, just for me, kind of a personal thing that I did. And I always loved the paper. I remember putting it up on Facebook, and it didn't really take off on Facebook. I thought, oh, well, maybe people don't love it as much as I love it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of Casino Royale, Casino. I'm a big James Bond fan, hence Casino Royale. Even though Casino Royale, I think, was based in France, a made-up village where Casino Royale is. Straight away, you think of Vegas.
Right.
I love American classic cars and muscle cars. So we've got a Chevy in there. I think we got Route 66 down there as well in the bottom right. And yeah, so I spent time in Vegas. I've got to say it's a kind of love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
I'm not a gambler, but it fascinated me.
Yeah.
It absolutely fascinated me. I think I spent just under a week there between running workshops. So yeah, that's the kind of story behind this. I wanted it grungy. It's actually raining in it if you look closely, which I didn't see when I was in Las Vegas, but I thought it had some rain to it as well.
Yep.
And my initials on the number
down
plate.
There.
Yeah, you got my initials on the number plate as well.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even notice that.
You guys say, yeah.
There we go. He's actually signed it for us right there. Amazing. So yeah, this is definitely very popular, and I cannot wait to share with you guys one of our samples that actually one of our retailers made for us in this paper.
There's also like a suitcase one done that I see.
Yeah, there's a suitcase, and there's actually it's a large dresser.
Oh wow!
Too, that one of our design. Or one of our,
yes, I absolutely.
Did you see that one?
Right, yeah, I absolutely love it.
And so I'll just tell you who did it for us. Her name is Heather Allen, and she runs a store out in Las Vegas called Penny Farthing Bespoke. And I cannot wait to share her sample with you guys.
I actually picked a little segment of her sample for my first sneak peek.
Gotcha.
I just loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I knew she was in Las Vegas and she does amazing work. So I said, hey, I'm going to send you this in A1. Do something amazing. So she did. All right. So here we go. This is what started it all for me, was this particular one.
Yeah.
This one is called The Raven Returns.
So this is an original canvas. We get onto there's two. It has a sister paper as well. I'm fascinated with ravens. Why? I've got no idea. We have them here guarding the Tower of London. They're very inquisitive birds, but they're very intelligent. The raven's actually got one of the largest brains of the whole bird population. If I get too geeky now, let me know.
No, you're fine. You're talking to the right crowd.
They can impersonate humans, wolves. They can call wolves and impersonate wolves, but they're also quite playful. And if you look on YouTube with ravens, they actually play chase me with wolves and other birds, teasing them for the wolves to chase them. So this was the original artworks done in water mixed with oil, which I went over to about 15 years ago. Water mixed with oil you don't have to use terps. And when I was out teaching, people don't like the smell of turpentine.
Right.
They don't want to be using turpentine, white spirits. It smells out the room. And I found this and I thought, well, this is perfect medium. So this shows a raven returning. You'll see it could be a lake or it could be the sea, the water below. A kind of fuzzy cityscape, kind of a foggy cityscape in the background. Yeah, I love this paper. Again, I don't know how popular it was on Facebook. I can't remember.
It didn't get nearly as much as it should have. But when I saw it, that's when I said, okay, then I gotta send him a message.
Yeah.
So I did. All right, and then this is the sister paper here.
Yeah. So this is
called Quote the Raven. Yep.
Anybody who knows or knows of Edgar Allan Poe will know the poem. And I just love the first one, The Return of the Raven, so much. I just decided to do a second in the same style. So yeah, this is a raven. Yeah, searching for berries. Very similar color scheme. I wanted them to match. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was just a week of literally painting. It was lovely. Sometimes we don't get the time to sit down with a canvas,
right,
and paint. And this was a time where I just had that free time to just go for it.
And this one is this one gives me a little bit of that darker edge. With this almost looks like a rabbit to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I want to be in your world.
He's catching his prey.
It's funny. I put a video up a couple of weeks ago. I was experimenting with chemicals and oxides with metal and doing tags with them. And a lady wrote on there, does anybody see all the birds that are in there?
Yeah.
I couldn't see it, but I've had it before where I've been looking at old roof tiles Before I moved to where I am now, I was in loft space and it overlooked these old roof tiles where all the moss grew on the roof. And when it was raining, I could look out and the amount of things that I would see within those tiles, you know, portraits and all sorts you kind of see. So, yeah, I still can't see the rabbit, though.
Here's his little rabbit's foot right there.
Okay.
Awesome. So those are the 10 that we have. I wish we had more, like I wish we had more, but I wanted to show everybody this is the A3 size in the Easy Rider. And we've got these all the way up to A0. So the next size up would be A2, then A1, and then A0, which is just massive paper. So our retailers have these in stock now. We actually shipped this week. And so most of them should have them now. And they have been given the all clear to go ahead and post those, post away so people can start buying them. So I'm so excited not only to share the projects that our designers have made, our 2 design teams, yours and mine.
Yeah.
And then what our customers do with them. So.
Yeah, no, I've been amazed with the collaboration between the two. And it's so, and you'll know this, Teresa, as a designer, when your products go out there and you see people using them, that's when you really get the payoff. You look and think, oh, wow. And you'll look and think, I just never thought of using it like this. And that for me is the highlight when I see it in people's hands, seeing them using it on products. And yeah, it's just very exciting at the moment.
I have to say, I agree. And, you know, I've been doing this for 2 years. And the first time that I saw, like the first few months that I saw people using it, sometimes the projects would actually bring tears to my eyes because I've just felt so proud.
Yeah. Do you know what? A few years ago, probably about 8-9 years ago now, I was out in Poland with Deco Art, and I went around a load of retail craft stores, and everything was decoupage. Everything in Poland was or a great deal of it was. They were just starting to get into mixed media a little bit, and that's where I first saw rice paper. And I was a little bit until I used it for the first time. And yeah, I mean, I used to do an awful lot of image transfers. I still do, but with rice paper, the way it blends in, it takes a lot of work out of image transfers.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's really easy to use and people just love it. So
yeah,
you keep creating for us and we'll keep making these papers.
I think also it's easy to use when the quality of paper is like this paper. Some people might think that's just something I'm saying to go buy the paper, but it's true. I would never, and those people that know me really well know that if I don't like something, I won't promote it. I won't talk about it. I have to really love the product. So yeah, well done to you.
Thank you, Andy. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing this with us and taking the time today to talk through each one. Really meaningful, I think, for people to kind of understand the story.
Vita's a bit of nasty work sometimes, but I've learned to deal with her now.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's just been a dream working with you guys. It's been just a different experience. She's back.
She's flexing her muscle there.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, I can turn this whole thing off.
She does. She has complete control. We were just talking about you.
Which buttons to press?
She's like, wait a minute. So fun. Well, we're clearly having a lot of fun together too. So that's what it's all about, is not only making great art, but doing something that you enjoy with people you enjoy. So I just have to say it's been such a pleasure working with you, and I hope we get to do a lot more together in the future.
That would be great. You still haven't told me what your favorite paper was.
My
And I'll
favorite
tell you
paper.
mine.
Well, if it wasn't obvious, it's this one.
The Raven.
Yeah,
Raven Returns.
it's this one.
I can't choose one. That's honest. For me, for usability, Tattered and Torn, and the Boiler Room, because of my love for kind of grunge and industrial. The Ravens, for me, are my favorite piece from a canvas that I've done in a long, long time. But I couldn't choose one because really they've all got different applications as well. I think with mixed media for years and years, people have been using cardstock. That's been the big thing going back from like 15 years ago when things first started taking off with Ranger and people like that. Cardstock, which I've used. But it's different. The rice paper is different, and I'm sure a lot of you guys on the chat have been using rice paper a lot longer than me, and are a lot more experienced with the rice papers. Because I discover every time I use them, I discover something new to do and a new technique with them and to color them. So in the next couple of weeks, I will be putting a post up about how I've just changed the look of a rice paper just with you could do it with ink, but I do it with transparent acrylic paints. So for instance, Tattered and Torn, the way I've put a transparent Prussian blue over the top of it, very watered down, and it just changes the appearance of it that you can blend
the whole
with
thing.
Paper. Like, yeah.
So yeah, is that even the same paper?
Over it.
Yeah.
It's like if you do photographic work, it's like putting a filter.
Yvette, what's your favorite? I sort of shouted it out for you, but is that one still your favorite?
Yeah, the Da Vinci is definitely my favorite. I just love the blend of colors, like the brightness. Obviously, like Da Vinci, the look, the face, everything about it. But I also just love the blocks of colors. I don't know.
It's funny. That's not as easy to do as people might think.
I know.
When all of a sudden you add a very vibrant red in there, it has to be right. And I think it worked. I think it works okay.
Yeah. No, it is absolutely beautiful. I do love it. And the
I do
second
too.
would be Tattered and Torn, because that's also
and I was a little bit surprised because Andy, Yvette designs papers for us too, and hers are always very neutral and sepia and toned down, and so I was really surprised that her favorite was so colorful. Well,
a lot of rice papers are very toned, aren't they? They're, in the style of things, they're very toned down. So what's been really nice is for me to really put myself on rice papers. I design a lot of stuff like you're saying with the clothing, but to actually put the thing that I like, and I know I gave you quite a choice of designs to go for, and I was worried that you might just pick the ones that were, let's say, very muted and laid back, but you didn't.
Not us.
Yeah.
No. Go big or go home.
I think it was very difficult to pick which one.
It was.
Yeah, to narrow it down was.
And I think you sent us about 40 or 50 pretty designs, and it was very hard to choose. But that just means that there's more opportunity to.
It's funny. I went through them all yesterday. Which I hadn't until once you had picked the designs, they were kind of on a hard drive in the background. I went through them, and it's funny. You go through maybe a design that you did a year ago or 6 months ago, and you look at it and you think, do you know what? I could change that, and I want to do that to it. So there's still a lot of scope in those papers. Yeah,
and we tried to pick some things that we thought would work well together, too, as a whole collection. So. We've got some great stuff, and it's been well received so far. Everybody has been super excited. Any of our retailers who didn't get a chance to purchase this collection can actually go on to our site now and purchase it. It is not available to the public yet on decoupagequeen.com, but it is available to our retailers to purchase. So right now you can only get these through our retailers who did pre-orders. So
when will the public be able to buy them once the retailer has them in stock?
yeah, so the retailers are able to sell them right now, right after this live. So
Okay,
the
well,
public
all
can buy them.
retailers out there listening, get selling.
Yeah, yep.
A lot of them will have them in stock already because we
Yes.
made sure
Okay.
to plan it to show it to the public when it's already kind of, most of them are already there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they'll be live on decoupagequeen.com for the general public next week. So
Yeah.
we let our retailers have the first chance, and then
That's
whatever's
the
left, if there's anything left, there might not be anything left.
It'd be nice. It means that I might be able to design some more papers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all up to you guys that were in the chat there.
Yep.
Yeah. Go
Exactly.
and support our retailers. Go
For
and
sure.
support our retailers. If there's a retailer in your area, then go and support them before you look or wait for the papers to be on decoupagequeen.com. You know.
Yep.
Yeah, can I just make a comment on that? So
Yeah.
of years of designing products and selling products, the biggest issue I have on a release, one is if the company hasn't got the products ready yet.
Mm-hmm.
And they release and it's 6 months down the line before they're actually ready for people to buy. Two is the amount of people that might come on my social media and say, Andy, where can we get these from?
Mm-hmm.
It's not up to me to pick out. I could tell you, oh, you can get them from here, but it's wrong of me to pick out a single retailer and say, oh, you can get them from this place. I'm
Right.
not
Yeah.
going to do that. So don't ask me.
Mhm.
Or if you do ask me, I'll send you to the Decoupage Queen, the retailer page where
Yeah.
you
The
get the
retailer.
retailer in your area. But don't just say to me, Andy, where can I get these in the UK? Where can I get these in the Netherlands? Because I'm not Google.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
I can't just draw up straight away where you can get things from.
Yeah.
And we just put that link right there in the chat of where to
Yeah.
find our retailers too. So I think that wraps us up.
It does. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it sums everything up.
Does that mean I can go and get some breakfast at 4
You
o'clock?
can go get some breakfast and drink your warm
Breakfast.
tea. Did you get to get your tea before we started?
About a quart. Oh no, I've actually done very well. About 3/4 of my tea.
That's not bad. At least
Yeah.
it's not completely untouched.
That's
Awesome.
the difference with being on audio
Yeah,
only. You
Yeah.
see, I can do what I like, and I could be wearing a clown mask
you could
at
be.
the moment. Like,
All
yeah.
right.
Well, you don't
Thank-
know what's happening behind, like past the year
Yeah.
either. So
Wow.
Well, thank you so much, Andy, and hopefully we'll be able to get together again soon.
Yeah, that'd be good.
It was
Yeah.
thank
awesome
you so
spending time
much,
with you.
everybody.
Well,
for
at least
watching
the
as well.
internet stayed connected.
Yeah,
That
Yeah.
was my biggest fear because I've moved house. It's a brand new build. I ordered the internet and then we find out there's not even a line. So I was really worried today that I just have to come into the chat. So at least I can connect.
it worked
So,
out
yeah.
great.
All
Very
came
good.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
love it.
sign. It's a sign.
Yep. So thank
Yeah.
you. And thank you to all of our viewers. And you can catch this on replay. Any questions, you can type them in the comments. We'll come back and answer. And I hope you guys have a great weekend and start creating. All
Yeah.
right.
And you can also ask me any questions on the social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If I
Yeah.
might answer you, I might not. No, but
You
I
might
will.
not.
I'll try
You
my
probably
best.
won't.
to answer.
All right, you guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.